Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, gracious, and peace and blessing on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all those who follow. We're still continuing on this trip of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his last trip from Medina to Mecca. And last time we stopped when he alayhi salatu wasalam stayed in Abtah, east of Mecca, after his companions they finished the Umrah. But he alayhi salatu was still in his ihram because he brought the hadi, the livestock. Then he alayhi salatu wasalam, after that he took this wide area, and it has wells to well, and it was easier for you to stay in that wide place that could fit all those who came with Rasulullah. And the Abtah is the place from Judul of Mecca. This is an area, those who live in Mecca, they know this place. The house of the Prophet ﷺ, close to Al-Hajjun, which is the closest thing to Kaaba. He ﷺ stayed with his companions in that area on the condition as Asma described. She was describing his condition and the condition of his companions, and she said, we stayed with the Prophet ﷺ here, and we are very light in luggage. We have little to provide. That was the condition of the Prophet ﷺ and his companions when they came to that area. It's very light luggage, easy for them to travel. They said Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He did not go to Al-Masjid Al-Haram to pray in the Kaaba, because if he did, then all these people would follow him, wanted to learn from him, and it could have been a burden on them, could have been hard on them. But he alayhi salatu wasalam, the merciful, the one that Allah sent merciful to all humanity, he preferred to pray in Abtah, which means that Mecca is all haram, and the reward is multiplied in any of his masjids. He alayhi salatu wasalam was close to people, and they were close to him. Everybody feared him, and they all close to him. With all his status, he was very close to everybody, and all his companions, they think they are very close to him. They have special place in the heart of the Prophet ﷺ. He was that kind of person that with all his personality, all his responsibility, he was close to everybody. He always had the time for everybody. Abu Hudayfa, he recited something that happened with him, and he was only 10 years old. And he said, he alayhi salatu wasalam went with the Hajar, and he has a red garment, raising his hand as if I'm looking at the light of his legs. He prayed 2 rak'ahs on people. When he finished, he stood up, people stood up, and they took his hands and wiped their faces. So I took his hand and I put it in my face. It was colder than cold, and it is better smelling than misk. The companion, they used to take their blessing from the Prophet ﷺ, and this is a fact that it's in all the books of Sunnah, and there is no dispute. But this is only for the Prophet ﷺ, that Allah Azza wa Jal gave him that blessing to those. So anything that he is blessed, anything that touches him, he is blessed. And we have a lot of examples in this in the Sunnah. Our mother Aisha says that the Prophet ﷺ, if he have pain, he will recite the Ma'udat, and then he will breathe. And she says that when it was very hard on him, she used to recite the Quran on him, recite the Ma'udat on him, the last 2 ayahs, and then she would wipe his hands on his face, because he had that blessing. Allah put the blessing in his hands. And as Anas ibn Malik recites, he said that the Prophet ﷺ, if he prayed in the morning, all the servant, they'll come with the water, and he will put his hand in that container of water, and they were hoping for the blessing of the Prophet ﷺ. And it is proven that when he shaved his hair, people crowded to get all they can from his hair. When he came to Mina, he threw the stones, and then he took his place in Mina, and then he slaughtered, and then he told the barber to shave. Then he took from his right and left, and then his forehead, and then he started giving it to people. And someone said that he saw the barber taking his hair, and his companions, they will not let one hair drop except in one of their hands. Ameen. So we can go back to the travel of the Prophet ﷺ when he was in the area called Al-Abtah. He alayhi salatu wasalam, he has a red dome in his place. So Bilal, he used to bring him his water to make his wudu, and then he will throw that on people, and they all are happy to have it. They are seeking the blessing of the Prophet ﷺ. Then Bilal will have a small arrow, so it will be a barrier for the Prophet ﷺ when he prays. So he alayhi salatu wasalam, he will go out and pray Jama'ah with them. So people start to come to the Prophet ﷺ in Al-Abtah, that place, as if it is a camp where people are gathering, so they could go from there to Mina. From those who came to him is Ali ibn Abi Talib, and he was coming from Yemen. Ali sent him before the Hajj to bring the fifth. So he came from his trip, making the ihram of the Prophet ﷺ. When he entered on his wife Fatima, the daughter, he found her, and she made her half in her umrah, and he saw her that she has wear clothes. So he was amazed. Why did she did that when she was supposed to be in ihram? So he asked her about this. She said, "My father ordered me for this." So Ali went to her, trying to entice her father on her, just like the young people do with their wives. So he alayhi salatu wasalam said that Fatima has so he told the Prophet ﷺ that she had wore clothes and put cologne, and she's claiming that you ordered her, O Prophet of Allah. So the Prophet ﷺ said, she's truthful. I ordered her to do that. He said, "What did you bring?" He said, "I came with whatever the Prophet ﷺ came up with. Since he had the hadith, then he cannot make the ihlal. He cannot wear clothes because he brought the livestock with him." After him came Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. So he alayhi salatu, "What did you make ihlal? How did you come?" He said, "I came with the same thing that the Prophet ﷺ did." He said, "Did you bring any livestock?" He said, "No." He said, go with tawaf with the Kaaba, and then make the tawaf, and then make your Hajj." Which shows that whoever had the livestock with him, he should stay on his ihram. But those who did not, they need to make umrah and then make hajj. The Prophet ﷺ, even though he was busy and all the virtues, he did not forget the social issues and the relationship with his companions. Sa'd ibn Waqqas, he was sick in Mecca. So he ﷺ went to visit him from his sickness. When he entered him, he found him in a lot of pain, as if he's about to die. And he thinks that he's going to die out of that sickness. So when he ﷺ saw that, he started crying. He said, "What make you cry?" He said, I was afraid that to die in the area when I migrated, because the companions, they knew when they made this migration for Allah and His Messenger, they want to come back from the migration they did. So he was afraid that I was afraid to die in the place where I migrated from. So he said, "No, that will not happen to you." He said, "O Prophet of Allah, I have all that pain. I'm a person I have a lot of money. I have only one daughter. Shall I donate all my money?" He said, "No." He said, "2/3 of it?" He said, "No." He said, "Half?" He said, "No." He said, "1/3? He said, "1/3, but that's too much." So he allowed him to donate 1/3 of his wealth, and that's too much. He said to leave those in inheritance rich, better than to leave them seek people's help. And he said, and whatever you spend, you seek Allah's face, you will be rewarded with it, even the bite you put it in the mouth of your wife, you seek Allah's pleasure, then you will be rewarded for this. Which you will look like you are playing with your wife, or you're flirting with your wife with that bite, but this is a reward. And that's why they say the intention is the trade of the scholars, because they know how to change their normal routine to worship, so they get rewarded in everything they do. So Sa'd ibn Waqqas, he was still in pain. He said he was afraid to die, as if his migration was not fulfilled, even though it was forced on him. But he felt that he won't be less than those who died in Medina and Allah completed their migration. He said, I will be. And another explanation of the man who said, meaning, I'm afraid that I'll be so sick that I'll be staying here because of my sickness. As if he is complaining to the Prophet ﷺ, I will be left behind. So he ﷺ told him, may Allah raise you, and you will not be left behind, and you will do a good deed, except you will be increased in your status. Meaning, in the increase of age, not to stay in Mecca, but whenever you live, you always get reward. Maybe you live and people will benefit from you, and others will be hurt from you. And there is a surprise that you know about Sa'd ibn Waqqas. How long did he live after this, and how many sons he had? So you'll be surprised. So he told maybe you'll be living when people would benefit from you and others will be hurt. He said, ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to heal me. So he alayhi salatu wasalam put his hand on his forehead. Then he wiped his face and his chest and belly. He said, oh Allah, heal Sa'd. And he said, repeated 3 times. And complete his migration. Sa'd said, and still the coldness of the hand of the Prophet ﷺ, the calmness, the goodness of it. And then he said, give all my companions their migration, do not turn them down. But the only one was Sa'd ibn Khawthah, that the Prophet ﷺ, who died in Mecca, that he stopped in, and they said, this it is an explanation to as if he is asking that he will be completed even though he died in Mecca. Sa'd ibn Khawla, he was the husband to Zaynab Ismailiyya, and but some of the narrators, they said he never migrated to begin with, and he stayed in Mecca until he died, and that's why he ﷺ made that dua on him. And some said he went and he stood with Badr and Uhud, and he was traveling to Mecca and he died in there. So even though this is something out of his choice, it was not completed like Allah has completed the other companions of the Prophet ﷺ who died in the city of the Prophet ﷺ. So I told you there's a surprise in the story of Sa'd ibn Waqqas. He lived 50 years. He lived 50 years after that. And he used to say to the Prophet ﷺ, and when he said, I only have one daughter, after that he had 34 sons and daughters. 34. And he lived 50 years after that dua. When Allah said, oh Allah, heal Sa'd 3 times. And to complete his migration. And to give my companions all their hijrah and do not turn them back. So he alayhi salatu said in Al-Abtah, teaching people and to advise him. On the 7th day, he made a khutbah after Dhuhr, telling people of their virtues and to tell them the rules of their Hajj. On the 8th, on the day of Tarwiyah, he alayhi salatu rode from Mina to Mina at Duha time. And those who were on Ihlal, they start their Ihram from Al-Abtah, facing, seeking Hajj, and they went toward Mina. So he alayhi salatu wasalam prayed with them Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib and Isha. He will shorten the 4 rak'ahs and he pray every prayer in his time. So people took from this that the combination you do it combined whenever you need to. Alayhi salatu wasalam, when he was in Mina, he was traveling, but even though he made shortening of the prayers, but there is nothing to do except pray and read Quran. There is nothing for them to do. So there is no need to combine the prayers. So he prayed each prayer in his time, but he shortened the prayer. And then he prayed Dhuhr and Asr, then Maghrib and Isha, and then Fajr. So to go to Mina, it is to prepare people, to prepare them psychologically and physically to the biggest day, which is the day of Arafah. So he's telling people when he's making Hajj to learn your Hajj from me. And there is always a lot of things to learn from each place that he went to. So when the sun rose on the 9th day, which is the best day, which is the day of Jum'ah and day of Arafah, the 9th of the Hajj, the 10th year of Al-Hijrah. And that caravan went from Mina to Arafah. And all people were walking with him. And they have no doubt that they will stop at Muzdalifah. And Quraysh, they used to think they don't go to Arafah, they go only to Muzdalifah. Because they are the people of Allah, they don't leave His boundaries. They think they have their own special status. Everybody go to Arafah, but they don't. People of Quraysh, they think they are the people of Allah, they do not leave Muzdalifah. So they used to think that's what it is, still there. So the Prophet ﷺ, he will go from Muzdalifah to Arafah because reply to Allah, then go to where people go. To stress on that, so tell them that this religion is not for all specific people, even if they are their own tribe or family. So he alayhi salatu took all this crowd to Arafah, and those who are making praising Allah, some saying labbaik Allahumma. No one deny anything. Some people say la ilaha illallah, some will say Allahu Akbar, some will say labbaik Allahumma labbaik. And the Prophet ﷺ listened to them and he agreed with them and do not deny any of their sayings. He alayhi salatu wasalam reached to Namira. Then he stayed until Dhuhr time. Then he took his ride right after Dhuhr to go to a valley called Bonana that could fit everybody that came to Arafah. So people could gather in there and they could stay in it. So he alayhi salatu wasalam, people on the valley, so he alayhi salatu wasalam stood up to get them quiet. He said, oh people, listen, so you might not see me after this year. So he was addressing people in a place where Allah Azza wa Jalla, He brought all these more than 120,000. And some of them, people say that all of them, they hear him. The voice of the Prophet ﷺ reached them no matter where they were, with no microphone, no speakers, nothing. Here, Allah the Almighty allowed the voice of the Prophet to reach everybody's ear. So he said, oh, your blood, your honor, your wealth is as sacred as this place, this month, this day, this place. And he stressed in the beginning of his speech about the importance of this issue, as if he is looking of what's going to happen to his companions, those whose followers after them, of fight and dispute. So the first thing that he stressed on in his ceremony, in his last advice, that your blood, your wealth, your honor, as sacred this day, in this month, in this town. And then he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, and everything from the matter of Jahili is put underneath my feet. Meaning everything inherited from Jahiliyyah is gone, is not there anymore. All the usury, all the riba, everything is voided. Everything is gone. It's not. All the blood and revenge is gone. No more revenge. No more somebody ask for any revenge, anything that's unfair. And the first blood I put is the blood of Abi Rabi'a ibn Abd al-Muttalib. Then he said the usury of the Jahili, the first one I take down is the Riba Abbas ibn Abd al-Muttalib, his uncle. It is all, meaning all the debt is gone. And all riba, you get your principal. You do not get more nor less. Allah has decided there is no more riba, no more usury. And then He said, "Oh people, fear Allah in the woman. Fear Allah in the woman. You have taken them with the trust of Allah, and you have took their private parts with the word of Allah. Then take care of the women. They are like hostages with you. They do not have nothing for themselves. I do not have anything in them more than this, unless they do something that is forbidden, that's clear. And you have a right on your wives, and they have rights on you. Your rights on your wives, that they will not allow your places, someone you hate, and they will not let someone come to your house is that you hate. And their rights on you, that you are kind to them in their dress, in their food, and you are afraid of them doing something wrong, then leave them in the bed and beat them something that's not going to leave marks, nothing that's going to hurt. If they followed you, then do not exceed, do not go on your punishment. And I've left behind me on something that if you held tight on, that you will never go astray. The Book of Allah. I am the one who is going to be welcoming you on the fountain, and I will be proud of the nations. And I am going to compete with you, and that I will be raising the others. So do not do me wrong. I will free people, and people will be freed from me. So I said, "Oh Allah, my friends," he will say it back to me, "You don't know what they have done after you." In other narrations, the Prophet ﷺ, he said that I am welcoming you at the house on the fountain, and some of you, I will know them. I know them. They know me. And when I am about to give them, then I will be turned back. I will say, my companions. Then they will say, "You don't know what they have done after you." So people, be saying, "Listen to me. I have delivered the message." And then he took the witness at that time. And it is the best witness that he have delivered the message, and made them admit when they were asked, when they're going to be asked at the day of judgment. When Allah said that we will ask those that you were sent, that they were sent to them, and they will ask the messengers, and we're not absent. We know what's going on, what happened. So before he is asked at the day of judgment, he is asking his followers, and you will be asked about me. So what are you going to answer? What a great question. What a great place. 23 years that he spent in delivering and being patient and fighting the sake of Allah. He was taken out of his town in the sake of Allah. He was fought in Badr, and he was hit in Badr and surrounded in Khandaq Just to go very quickly on some of a brief history of what he went through. He was fought in Badr, and he was hurt in Uhud, and he was surrounded in Khandaq, and he took 2 stones out of hunger to wrapped around his belly, and his best friends died, and his uncle, and Hamza's killing is nothing absent, and this is all for the sake of delivering the message of Allah. But still he asked his nation, which is not hidden from Allah, and no one can testify anything except to hear everybody saying one voice, we bear witness that you have given the message you delivered, and you have advised the best of advice. Then he alayhi salatu wasalam raised his finger, and he was saying, oh Allah, bear witness, oh Allah, bear witness. And we bear witness the same way that he delivered the message and delivered the trust. May Allah have peace and blessing on him and his household. And one of the strange things that who was living on the Prophet ﷺ, and Rabi'a ibn Umayy ibn Khalaf is the one who was sounded. Remember Umayy ibn Khalaf, who was killed, who was punishing Bilal, and Bilal killed him. And so the one who was delivering the message is Rabi'a. He was because he has a big loud voice, because the Prophet ﷺ will tell him, raise your voice with this, so he will say it, people will hear him, those who are far away. It is the guidance of the Prophet ﷺ that distinguished the revenge of the Jahiliyyah, of the ignorance period, and took away the hatred between people. All these souls changed to a different attitude when it was flushed with the guidance of the messenger. The Prophet ﷺ finished his khutbah, and then Bilal made his adhan, and they prayed Dhuhr and then Asr, then prayed nothing in between. Then he took his camel and went to the heart of Arafah, in a mount called Mount of Rahmah. It used to be called the Mount of Ilar. He stood in there, alayhi salatu wasalam, facing the Qibla, raising his hand, and in his place teaching people what to do. People ask him about Hajj. Somebody will tell him Hajj is Arafah. Someone will tell him, I stood over here, it is all a place. So they will not fight where the Prophet ﷺ stood. So he's trying to teach people that all of the Mount of Arafah, all this various place, it is for Arafah. And whoever have izar, then they need to place pants, and whoever cannot have the nal, then he will wear the khuf. A man fell down from the companions from his camel on the rocks, and his neck disconnected, and he died. No one knew who was, but Allah knows him. And Allah Azza wa Jal put his reward of his Hajj in a book. So the Prophet ﷺ gave his instruction at that time: wash him with water and cedar, and keep him in his clothes. Do not put any cologne, do not put anything on his head. He's going to be resurrected at the Day of Judgment, answering Allah. He said to wash him with water and cedar, and do not take off his clothes, do not keep his clothes on, do not put anything on his head, and do not put any cologne. He will be resurrected at the Judgment, answering Allah. he alayhi salatu wasalam was busy with the remembrance of Allah, but that did not stop him from answering people and explaining to people. One Bedouin came from, name is Ibn al-Muntafiq. So he kept chasing the Prophet. He met him at Arafat. He said, two things I came to ask you. I came to ask you about two things. He said, what are they? He said, what's gonna save me from hellfire, and what gonna enter me Jannah? What is it gonna save me from hellfire? What's gonna make me enter heaven? He alayhi salatu wasalam looked to the heavens, and then he faced him. He said, you have very easy talk, but it is very important things. It's very great matter. Then listen to me good. He said, worship Allah, do not have partners with Him, and establish the prayers that is obligated, and give the zakah that is obligated, and fast Ramadan. And if what you want people to do of goodness, then do that to them. So you love to your brother what you love for yourself. And he said, what you hate that people like to do to you of evil, then do not do that to people. Then the Bedouin came from every place, surrounded the Prophet ﷺ, and they came closer, and this way, this is the blessed place, this is the blessed face. Then Jibreel comes down, descend on the Prophet ﷺ in that place with this ayah. Today I have completed your religion, I fulfilled my bounty, and I accepted Islam, your religion. So he was. Then he recited that to declare the completion of the religion and the fulfillment of the bounty of Allah. Umar ibn Khattab heard this, and he started crying. So the Prophet ﷺ told him, what makes you cry, Umar? He said, oh Prophet of Allah, he said, we were increasing in religion, so it is fulfilled. There is nothing except decrease after that. So whenever everything is completed, nothing is going to happen except the decrease. Meaning, he knew that he alayhi salatu wasalam will be leaving him. But he alayhi salatu wasalam said that day, and he combined between Dhuhr and Asr, so he will stay the rest of the day for dhikr and dua until the companion, they thought that he was still fasting, because there was no time to eat or drink in front of them, because he was very concentrated on the dhikr and to humble himself with Allah. So al-Fadl ibn Abbas took some milk when he was standing on his camel, so he started drinking in front of people, so the people know that the people of Hajj do not fast Arafah, alayhi salatu wasalam. From his closest, because he stuck from dua, when the robe of his camel fell down, he took it out, and his other hand is still in the same shape, raising it in humbleness to Allah Azza wa Jalla. As if he is asking the food, just like the poor person asking for more. So that's how he raised his hands toward Allah in his dua. So he took he was very concentrated in the dua. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ala kulli shay'in qadir. That was his dua. That's the dua of the Prophet between raising and asking Allah. This is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He knew the closeness of his age, saying, I answer you, Allah. there is no living except the life of the hereafter. He felt his passing coming close. So the whole day was finished. The Prophet ﷺ is concentrating in the dua and dhikr. Then he called Usama ibn Zayd, so he will ride behind him. People will be thinking, well, Usama, that he chose him, so he will have the honor to ride with the Prophet ﷺ on the back of his camel. So when they were surprised, a black young man came to the Prophet ﷺ behind them. So they said, those who so this is what makes us where's Usama? With that choice, he alayhi salatu wasalam, he wanted to take one important issue. He wanted to make sure this classification that it was there should all be wiped. There is no more classes of high class, low class, or older, and there is no difference between white and black and Arab and non-Arabs, because he had the behind him, the young boy, and the black boy was riding with him to show there is no class, the different between the Muslims. They're all one nation. Then when it was close to Maghrib, Yahya said, what left of this life, just like this, the leftover of this life, of this day, until sunset. Look how close the sunset is close by, which was very, very, very close at that time. He said, this is how much left of the life. When the Maghrib was to happen, the Prophet ﷺ, he called Bilal, so people would listen to him. So people listened to the Prophet ﷺ. So he gave them the glad tidings from Allah. He said, "Oh people, Gabriel came to me and he gave me the salam from my Lord, and he said that Allah Azza wa Jalla, He has forgiven the people of Arafat and those of the Mash'ar, and He guaranteed nothing on them. Allah Azza wa Jalla have forgiven the people of Arafat and Al-Mash'ar, and He guaranteed there's no. So Umar ibn Khattab, he said, this for me or for us only? He said, for you and for everyone who comes after you until the day of judgment. So Umar ibn Khattab stood up, he said, Allah's bounty is great, and it was abundance, and it is good. To the Mash'ar al-Haram, to Al-Muzdalifah, and inshallah we'll stop here. Inshallah Thursday we'll continue the journey, because I'm leaving on Saturday. Inshallah Allah will allow us to finish this trip inshallah. مثل نوره كمشكاة فيها مصباح